Hello everybody, I am back today with a super fun card making video. You may remember this card. I created it for Wild Whisper a couple of months ago, and remember I wanted something bright and spring feeling, and I used all the bright colors. Well, I thought I might revisit that card today, but with a completely different feel and a colorless version, as it were. So I have all those beautiful Distress Oxide inks, including my absolute favorite, which is Vintage Photo, and that's why you couldn't read the Distress Oxide packaging on that one, because I stays on my desk and I use it all the time. I am going to be creating a card with some heavyweight hot press watercolor paper. Hot press watercolor paper simply means it's smooth. It has no texture to it. And I love that. It is so perfect, and it's made to take water. And we are going to use a bit of water on our card today. It does need a little bit of care in creating a card base. So I'm going to use a scoring tool. I'm going to use a bone folder because I don't want my cardstock to crack. And when you're using the watercolor paper, it's important to take the extra time so that it doesn't crack. So I'm going to start this card quite similarly to the way that I started it last time. And that is by stamping this lattice work background. So my idea behind it is this. If you watched the video with that bright, beautiful stamp set, and if you purchased it, maybe by now you are needing some more ideas to get it used, right? Stamps are an investment. We use stamps in our crafting, but we need more than just one way to use a stamp. We like the idea, or at least I do, I like the idea of using a stamp for multiple things. So I decided that this would be a great way to show you how to take a stamp set. Maybe you've watched one of your very favorite stamping gurus, and they have created something that is gorgeous. You went ahead, you bought all the stamps. Maybe you even made the card that they shared. But maybe you haven't touched that stamp set for a while. And so the idea is to give you some new fun ways to pull stamp sets out again and use them. And one of the ways that we can change up the look and feel of a stamp set is by using different inks and different colors with that stamp set. So I stamped that lattice stamp set 3 or 4 times, and then I inked the edges of my card panel with some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. Now I'm coming in with a water brush, and I am just smudging the edges. That's a very technical term. So I'm taking a little bit of water. I am taking advantage of the fact that a Distress Oxide ink will kind of run and work with water. And I'm going to go ahead and just run the water brush over the edges to kind of smoosh that ink up. I'm going to do something super similar now with the stamps from the Love in Bloom stamp set. So same thing, I am stamping that card floral image. I am stamping those beautiful hearts, and then I am going to go ahead and do a very similar thing. Now I'm using different color inks. So the background is Vintage Photo, but now I'm using Ground Espresso, Frayed Burlap, and Antique Linen. So we have all these different shades of brown and cream and neutrals. As an aside, I just want to say this. The reason that I did my card base from the hot press watercolor paper is because hot press watercolor paper has a bit of a cream color to it, and I don't like it when my card panel and my card base are different color whites. So since I needed to use the watercolor paper to do the card panel and create the card panel, I went ahead and did my card base in the same paper so that they matched perfectly. But if you want to conserve your special watercolor paper, of course, then, and you don't mind if the colors are a little bit off, by all means, you can use whatever you'd like for your card base. I'm just picky like that, which is funny because I'm not picky like that with most things, but for some reason that just bugs me. All right, so I am stamping 5 hearts. I am stamping that beautiful floral element there, and I'm stamping it more than once. I want to kind of layer up the ink. I want to make sure there's enough kind of extra ink there that when I get it with the water and I start to kind of watercolor it, the ink is going to run and really give some fun kind of color to the rest of the image. So I did the hearts, and I know that those antique linen ones are a little hard to see, but you'll be able to see them better in the close-ups at the end. And then I'm taking portions of that flower, and I am just going ahead and coloring just portions, not the whole thing. I'm leaving most of it white. This is a really easy technique if you don't want to, or if you're not good at it, or if you don't like your coloring skills. This is a really great way to create with more intricate stamp sets that might need to be colored. You can stamp them using any color of Distress Oxide ink and then just color in certain sections. So I am going, well, I already did. I spritzed that card panel with some water just to get some lighter and darker areas. And so you get that fun kind of oxide look. I really wanted to do this card horizontal instead of vertical, but my flower wasn't quite gonna fit. So that's okay, we're gonna go vertical. Now I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get an idea of where I want all these different pieces to be. And I am going to pop up all of the hearts on a little bit of foam tape. This was a little bit tedious because I had to cut the foam tape into teeny tiny little pieces and then pop them up, but it was worth it because in the end this has really great, lovely dimension. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop up. I think I left a bit too much of this footage in my video, just saying. And then we can go ahead and adhere down the vase of flowers. And I'm going to do that with some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, my favorite wet glue. So I'm going to put a nice amount of wet glue down because I want to make sure this sticks really well, and I'm going to mail this card, so of course it needs to, right? I'm going to grab an acrylic block and kind of pop the acrylic block up, or I'm going to put the acrylic block on top of that, just so that nothing curls. I don't want any of the moisture from the wet glue to curl my image and cause problems. And now all I am doing is taking some white sequins. I know there's all kinds of colors in that mix, but I'm just taking the white ones. And I'm going to pop them all around those little hearts. And then I also went in with some glossy accents and gave those hearts and 1 or 2 of those flowers in my pot a little bit of shine. And that is where we're going to call this one done. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, and be sure to head over to the blog where you can find links to all of these products and grab them from the shop. Bye!